Trying to get all of the gadgets in Roboquest can be very daunting, but if you follow this video step by step, you will have all of the gadgets in no time. You can do this in any order, but I'll be starting with the easiest gadgets first and then progress the ones that are more complicated or require a little bit more time. I'll be starting with no gadgets to make this as easy as possible to follow along if you don't have any gadgets already, as some of these gadgets make it a lot easier to obtain the other gadgets and quest items, while also providing my own tips and tricks for you. With that being said, let's get into it. The first gadget we'll be going for is the battery burger, as you could start going for this gadget right away. The first thing you want to do is go to canyons, which is the first area when you start a run. Find BuddyBot and interact with him. Do not kill him or else you won't be able to interact with him, but he will be shooting you. If you already interacted with him, then you'll find him here in the beginning area before you start a run. Grab him and then head to Oasis. You'll find the door to Oasis once you go through Canyon. Once you make it to Oasis, you'll see two waterfalls on your left. You want to approach the second waterfall. Once you make it through the waterfall, you want to show the door BuddyBot. Once you do that, the door will open and you'll see a pair of swim trunks, and you want to pick that up. You'll need it to progress this quest to unlock the battery burger. You could also turn BuddyBot into a fantastic weapon, which is essentially a legendary powerful variant. So once you do that, you could start progressing through the Oasis zone and look for the yellow zone indicated by the map in your top right. Once you make it to the area, you'll see a bunch of enemies nearby. You want to make sure to clear them out because the enemies that fly will follow you in here. And once you give this robot here the swim trunks, he will give you the battery burger. This gadget is really good for early game. Once you progress far enough in the game, this gadget really isn't too helpful, which is why I put it at the beginning of the list. If you're enjoying the video so far, be sure to drop a like and subscribe. My goal is to hit 4,000 subscribers before 2024. Next up is the Pogo Stick, and while we are going for the Pogo Stick, we're also going to grab a item called the shovel, which is something we'll need for another gadget, which we can immediately go for right after. You'll want to start a new run and start heading towards the quarry. Before you go through the doors, you'll notice a 3-digit code on the bottom left. Write that down because we'll need that code later on. Keep in mind this code is different for everybody, so the code I have is going to be different for the code you have. To get the Pogo Stick, we need to get some height, and in order to do that, you either need a gadget that will let you jump higher in the air or rocket jumping. And at this point, I don't have any of those gadgets, so I'll be rocket jumping, and I'll walk you step by step on how to do that. Once you get to the quarry, you'll want to find the purple zone marked on your map and clear out the enemies because they will make your life a lot harder than it has to be. If you look at the purple door, you'll notice above it there's a yellow beam with a small robot on it. So you have to get to that small robot. After many attempts of trying and failing, I figured out if you go to this little platform and rocket jump to these little metal racks and then rocket jump up to the purple segments of the wall, will be able to safely make to the yellow beam without falling off. And there you go, you got the Pogo Stick. We just need one more item from this zone, which is the shovel, as I mentioned earlier. And that will be in the yellow zone. I want to clear out this area because these robots will definitely kill you when you're trying to type in the code that you found earlier. Again, this code is different for you than what I have for me. There's this little TNT thing you could activate. Just activate it for free XP. And then the shovel will be in this little area over here. And here's where I restarted the run for the Explorer Slipper gadget. But if you want to be as efficient as possible, we can keep going to get the Jetpack and the Hero's Cape. So for me, this will be a new run. So in this area, you'll notice that there's a door that's kind of hard to get to. You can rocket jump to get there, but we also could use the Pogo Stick we just acquired. So to use the Pogo Stick, you hold crouch until you hear a click and then you jump, and that will propel you further. You could use the Pogo Stick jump on this little platform that's here. It's okay if you can't get it on the first try, but once you do successfully do this, you'll get to the zone called the pit. Once you reach the checkpoint, you'll find a red cinema ticket. You'll need this to access the area that has the jetpack. But we do need one more item called Randy's Nose, which is located in the fusion core, which we'll get to after the Aqua Station. There's also another gadget you can get here called Hero's Cape, but you do need a fire weapon. And all you have to do is shoot this ice cube and interact with the robot, and he'll give you the hero cape. Go to the door I'm taking here because they're not labeled, and if you take the wrong door, then you just have to come back. You'll just have to restart the run and come back to the correct door. Once you make it to the checkpoint in the fusion core, you have to do some platforming, but be careful you don't take too much damage because of these lasers, and the acid in the ground will definitely hurt you really quickly. And then once you make it through, you'll reach Randy's nose. You just have to pick it up, and now we can make our way to Haven City. Once you're at Haven City, all you have to do is make your way to the red cinema and open the door to give Randy his nose. And once you do that, you've unlocked the jetpack. In the same area, we can also unlock the Grapple Hook. All you have to do is make it to the yellow zone in Haven City. Follow the path I take to make it into the bot cave. This will be closed if you haven't unlocked the 6 power crystals, which are indicated by these 6 lights here. If you don't know how to do that, I have a in-depth guide on exactly how to do so. So feel free to check that video out if you need to. The grapple hook could be found in the center of the room in the bot cave. Now you have the grapple hook, which is easily my favorite gadget in the game. It's really fun to use. The next gadget, the sunglasses, you can be obtained by defeating the final boss in the game. So if you don't want to see any spoilers for the final boss, feel free to skip to the next gadget. In order to get the sunglasses, you have to defeat the final boss, who is located on the moon. This is a challenging fight. You should try to prepare with a proper build and consider attempting this at a lower difficulty if you are struggling with the other enemies and bosses in the game. Once you defeat the final boss and roll the credits, you'll see a victory screen. Just head back to base camp, and then the sunglasses will be given to you. Next up, we have the Explorer Slippers, which can be acquired at any time after you get the shovel. You'll want to grab the shovel at the beginning of your run, and in the canyon, there will be these marked graves that you have to dig. There's a guaranteed spot in the purple zone in front of the door. Sometimes there could be more than one in this area. Sometimes you don't get the gadget right away. It actually took me over 5 attempts. I just kept restarting the run until it finally decided to give me the slippers. And this is the only area where you could use the shovel to dig up holes. Next up is the business briefcase. For this, you have to head to the ruins and have at least 1 power cell on you. You'll have to go to this robot and give him a power cell. You can only give him 1 at a time, and you have to do this a total of 4 times. So all I did was get to this part, give him the power cell, and restart the run. And by the 4th time, he gave me the business briefcase. This is a great gadget to have in early game because it guarantees you at least 1 power cell every time you level up. Next up, we have the cooking gloves, which is one of the more tedious gadgets to obtain, and this is because you have to bring 3 different weapons to an NPC all the way in the fields. The upside is that you can keep the weapons and continue your run afterwards. So at this checkpoint, you want to go up to him, show him the first weapon, which is the blunderbuss, the second weapon being the junk rifle, and then the third weapon being the sheriff's carbine. And I actually got lucky enough to where I got the third weapon in Max's crate, so I didn't have to come back a 3rd time. But what I did was, at the beginning of the run, I would try to get the blunderbuss, and if I didn't get it, I would just restart the run until I got it. And I did it again with the junk rifle. It's just the most efficient way to do it, and kill as many enemies as you can up to this point to try to get any of the other weapons to drop. The next gadget is cooking gloves, which you get from giving this robot here 5 data logs, and you can find data logs just by exploring each zone. Lastly, we have the metal detector, which you get from bringing the same robot 35 data logs. There is a total of around, I believe, 50 data logs in the game. If you want me to do a video on how to find all of them, then let me know down in the comment section below. If you have any tips for finding gadgets in Roboquest, then comment them down below. You might just end up helping someone else who's watching this video that's struggling. And if you want to see more Roboquest videos like this every week, then subscribe. I will see you in the next video. Peace.